Welcome back to the Rise of Shadows card preview valuation stream for the Gritting Goat. I am Adwicta, and Merps is not here with us today, but we will soldier on. Priest is happening right now, and now we're back to the powerful classes. We were talking about Paladin and how disappointingly Rise of Shadows did not give a super OP card to Paladin, as they gave top of the line cards to Druid, Hunter, and Mage. But with Priest, we're back. Forbidden Words, the number one Priest card below Dragonfire Potion. So first of all, let's start with they're getting Dragonfire Potion back. It's 6 mana, deal 5 damage to everything besides dragons. It's insane. It's just a really, really good card. Forbidden Words is the other side of it, where Dragonfire pretty much kills everything on the board. Forbidden Words is 0 mana, spend all your mana, destroy a minion with that much attack or less. So it is a hard removal / tempo removal, depending on what your target is. It's freaking insane. The flexibility you have with this card. Because it's basically like a Shadow Word Pain, and it can be like a Shadow Word Death. Like, the amount of flexibility is just ridiculous. You will take this card every time you see it. I hope they start out of the top bucket. If they don't, well, Priest is just going to get something ridiculous for a while. I think a lot of people underrate how much flexibility is worth, and it's worth a lot. The next card is Evil Conscriptor. Evil Conscriptor is the it's the first class-based lackey card that we've seen, because we haven't done, we're going to see a lot more of it. I think every class after this, or almost every class after this, has its own lackey card. Evil Conscriptor is a 2 mana 2/2, so sort of playable as a 2-drop. Death Rattle, add a lackey to your hand. Remember, lackeys are 1 mana 1/1s with some ability, like deal 2 damage, or evolve a minion, or give +1 and rush to something. Like, they're over-tempoed. So Evil Conscriptor, assuming it does not get, assuming it doesn't get Potion of Madness, Evil Conscriptor will do very well by holding the tempo when you play it, and then giving you a way to get additional tempo later on whenever it dies, which will be very, very soon because it only has 2 health. This is very high tempo. And it's kind of weird because we're in Priest, and Priest is not used to having super high tempo cards, but here is a super high tempo card that does not involve buffing stuff. Keep in mind, Priests do get Cabal Talon Priest back, which is 3 mana 3/4. Battlecry, give a friendly minion +3 health, which is really good for tempo if you have the board. And they also have Dark Cultist back, which is another 3 mana 3/4. But Death Rattle, give a random friendly minion +3 health. So it's like a lot of like tempo-y stuff is actually coming back. And Evil Conscriptor is going to fit right into that and make sure if the Priest does lose the tempo, that they can get the tempo back. And it is a fill-in kind of like 2-drop. Next on the list is, I think, something people thought was going to be rated really, really, really freaking high. It is a Henge Clan Shadequill, 4 mana 4/7. It is a 133. 133 is barely premium. This is a 4 mana 4/7. Death Rattle, restore 5 health to the enemy hero. Just because it's an overstated card and its downside is like not terrible, I think people think, oh god, just like free amazing drop. I mean, it's certainly better than a Yeti, but the fact that it doesn't have 5 attack, right? So it still fails against like half the 4 drops. Well, not fails, but like doesn't do anything special. It has the health, which is nice because Priest can heal, but outside of that, it's a decent body, I guess. The downside is not terribly relevant, especially as a Priest player. It allows you to stabilize, but it has no taunt. You'd rather have a taunt for real stabilization. So it's actually fitting in to the same game plan as the cards we were looking at before, where you just try to get on the board and you get stuff on the board and you get tempo. So you have all of these tempo options. All of these tempo options that are available to Priest now, which is a very big departure, right, from a lot of their card advantage and board clear options. Right now, Holy Nova, sort of a board clear. Dragonfire Potion, definitely a board clear. And then what else do you have? Potion of Madness is a tiny, tiny board clear, and it's only rated a 124. I know this is probably going to be the most controversial rating because Potion of Madness is coming back and everyone has nightmares about Potion of Madness, but it's just so tied to getting it at the right time, namely in your opening hand, that if you're a good player, you really shouldn't be drafting this card. Like, they're going to put this card in like the top bucket or the second bucket. And as a good player, you want to avoid putting this card that high because it's a rock, paper, scissors card. And rock, paper, scissors does not take advantage of your skill. So while it may be a very good card if you're a 50% win rate player, and maybe even an insanely good card if you're a lower than 50% win rate player, if you're a high win rate player, just stay away from Potion of Madness. Instead, go the tempo route, right? This is what I was saying in the beginning if you watched the meta video. Priest is all about tempo in this latest arena. Your Northshire Cleric is still up here. You have your Forbidden Shaping coming back. You have a lot of flexibility. You have a lot of things that require things to be on the board. You have a lot of ways to make sure you get the board. It kind of makes sense to put them together. What else does Priest have here? Shadowy Figure. Shadowy Figure, 2 mana, 2/2, battle cry, transform a 2/2 into a 2/2 copy of a friendly death rattle minion. Like, yeah, it's fine. It's much better than just a 2 mana, 2/2 because it takes a death rattle. And it's, again, a fill-in for a 2-drop, right? If you happen to not have enough 2-drops. What I'm curious about with Priest is that do they need so much tempo that these evil Conscriptor gets your tempo back, but like evil Conscriptors and Shadowy Figures, like, are they too weak to be actual 2-drops for Priest? Are Priests going to be that tempo dependent? If they have to be that tempo dependent, then the whole thing kind of falls apart a bit and they're no longer like very powerful. They're just kind of a normal class. But if they can get away, if the meta is not fast enough that they can get away with playing 2 mana 2/2s, then they have 2 freaking excellent tools that can fill in. And so Priest can have it both ways. They can have an on the board playstyle that also has really freaking large cards in the back. And in the late game, Priest is one of the best hero powers, not only being able to heal themselves, but be able to get 2 health stats per turn. Because in the late game, you're almost always hurting something every turn. So, Priest is in a very interesting spot, I think. And it's entirely meta dependent. If the meta goes a little too fast, the Priest is dead. If the meta goes at the speed that I think the meta is going to go at, which is that 2 mana 2/2s are still viable, then the Priests are in a very good position, but not in the way you may think, not in the control fashion. Laszlo Scheme coming in at a 98. Laszlo Scheme, 0 mana. Reduce the attack of an enemy minion by 1 until your next turn. It upgrades each turn, so you'll eventually be able to just reduce mid-sized minions to like nothing. It's nice. It's nice to have. You just keep it around. Even on the turn you get it, you can play it. Because sometimes you just need that one extra health, right? Here's a big card. Mass Resurrection. Summon 3 friendly minions that died this game. 9 mana. It's like too fair of a cost for Mass Resurrection. I think you have to, this has to be done in like some kind of like combo-y or like heavy synergy kind of deck, where the things you're summoning back are things that you need, likely things, things with death rattles that don't put stuff on the board or something, I don't know. Or it's got to be, yeah, but basically arena decks aren't going to get ridiculous use out of this. It's a constructed card. 93 is not terrible, it's definitely pickable, especially if you need something big and you don't have a lot of tokens, but overall it's kind of underwhelming. Unsleeping Soul, 4 mana. Silence a friendly minion that summon a copy of it. It's fine. It's like a Molten Reflection with a twist. 86 points. What else do Priest have? I think that's about it. Yeah, so that's it for Priest. They have some good tools at the top, right? HenchClan Shadequill, certainly good. Convincing Infiltrator. Oh, I skipped Convincing Infiltrator because I went directly to HenchClan Shadequill. Okay. Convincing Infiltrators, 133 points. Another low premium card for Priest. It's a 5 mana 2/6 taunt with Death Rattle, destroy a random enemy minion. So it's a very good 5-drop, and it taunts, so it prevents the pressure from hitting your face if you're playing a late game kind of like thing. Yeah, so it's another good card. So priests have a good 4-drop, a good 5-drop, a good 2-drop. A lot of things happening here, right? Like, and they're getting back to amazing 3-drops. On top of that, Forbidden Shaping is any drop. The priest tempo game is going to be strong. That's it for priest. Yeah, I don't know that I have much else to say about priests. Just aggro priests are no longer like a totally weird thing to be doing for priest. We'll put it that way, or at least not like tempo priest. Maybe not like face priest, but like tempo Zooey kind of priest. That I think that will become the norm of priest. Legendaries. Priests have 2 legendaries, as does everyone else. Their legendaries are actually pretty good. Katrina Muerte at 123, 8 mana, 6/8. At the end of your turn, summon a friendly minion that died this game. Again, there may be some tokens, there may be things messing up your like resummons. Resummons and priests are kind of, or any class really, are kind of weird in Arena, because you don't really have a very synergistic kind of deck to resummon. But this is a really powerful card. So even in Arena, even in the messiness of Arena, it's a 123. And if you compare this to the other resummon cards, right? Like we have, if you look at the neutral resummon cards, or not resummon, just kind of like summoning cards, you have the Big Bad Archmage, which is only a 94. And so Katrina compares much more favorably to it at 123. And you also, of course, have where's am I missing it? Yeah, you also have Yasharaj at a 96 as well. That's a 10 mana 10/10. At the end of your turn, summon a minion from your deck, right? So these kind of like adding additional minions as long as it stays alive, it usually comes in too late for it to matter with how fast this meta is going to be going. But Katrina is by far the best in its group, getting up to like 123 points. Anyway, moving on to the next legendary, the even better legendary, Madame Lazul, 3 mana 3/2, Battlecry, discover a copy of a card in your opponent's hand. This is not just good because it's a 3 mana 3/2 draw a card, but you get to see 3 cards in your opponent's hand, and your opponent probably does not have that many more cards than 3 cards. So you get to see like all their cards, and then you get to pick the one that's most helpful to you. That has a lot of value, especially in the late game. So it's nice to play in the early game, but it's really just kind of like under tempoed, which you don't want to do. But later on, you play it, and you have so much information, and you can play around that. All right, so the 164. That makes it the second best legendary for Priest, below only Kazakis, which is ridiculous. That's it for Priest. We will go on next with Rogue. This is Advicta. See you there.